The wind is starting to pick up. It's getting gusty. It's supposed to get up to 80 this morning. This damn thing's going to be like a kite. My bees. They're just chilling. My pails have not budged. It was windy, it was up to 80 yesterday also, maybe even 90 last night. My pails are still on, and they're empty. But the bees, they glue them down. Just a little layer of propolis, so it's stuck. And my tops are profiled. Ever since I went with this style of top, I don't seem to have the tops blow off, and it helps too. I won't break the seal, but there is a layer of propolis between the two sides of the foamy, and it kind of sticks things down. So these girls are going to be moved. Hopefully I can work this thing in the wind. Fun times. This field is our field. And that's why they haven't been moved yet, because it's just one of those jobs I've been postponing. If I was another farmer, I would have these colonies moved out a long time ago before the combine come through, so then they can clean up things nice and easy and don't have to piss around the bee colonies. But because it's my farm, then I just tell my brother just work around them. Boy, it's just like a kite. Jeepers. So, I'm gonna get this load strapped down and then go pick another one. Because the bees are not flying today. Might as well take advantage of that fact. Do a spot check here to see where we are at. Zero. Well, there's 2 yards loaded up. This is what 30% loss looks like, loaded onto a truck. Lots of holes. My yards don't average 30%, probably 20% summer call. But my overall loss, summer loss, is 11%. And that's because the 1,200 main production colonies, they took a hit around that 20-25%. But I increased my battery this year to 600 colonies, 650 I think it is. And they only experienced like a 2% call. So here's a prime example of how I'm tapping into my nuke battery to fill in my empty spots. It's taking the pressure off. It's working exactly as designed. And it's unfortunate that I need to have a 50% nuke battery now just to keep attrition from swallowing my operation up whole. But it just is what it is. And another interesting little tidbit here I thought is unique, but maybe not unexpected. My mature colonies, after the honey pull, and as that brood was emerging, like as we pulled off the boxes, we're looking at like 0.33% mite counts. Everything's hunky-dory. As that summertime brood nest emerged into September, I was getting escalation to 3%, 4%, 5%, run into a 10% yard. And that caused me some concern. So then we followed up with the Appy Life VAR treatment and dropped those mites down to, I'm wasting my time shaking, and I'm finding zeros. My highest count was actually run into a colony. Probably was a mite bomb because it looks like it had crashed, and 2% mite count on those bees with the emerging brood nest. But at any rate, my mature colonies were experiencing an escalating mite count as that fall nest emerged and as those summer bees flew away and died, right? As that nest shrinks, mite counts increase, except for my battery. All my splits, they're counting. I'm not shaking mites on them. Maybe 0.5%, something like that. Those splits were made in May into June off the same colonies right now with the same brood, the same treatment, same everything, except they were made up with 3 to 4 frames of brood, bees, and a queen cell. So they had, a brood break within that time. So that one little brood break in the spring interrupted that mite cycle so much that it didn't follow the mite growth trend as the rest of my colonies did. Those yards are in manageable condition, and those colonies look absolutely terrific. So there's something to be said about that brood break. And it's got me to wondering, with some of these alternative treatments that we're applying to the colonies, we're seeing the mite drop off the bees, so it's helping purge the mites. But a lot of these alternative treatments also kill the brood nest off or interrupt the brood nest so that queen quits laying. And maybe that act of broodlessness within that period of time of important mite growth is maybe another factor of why these alternative treatments maybe work so well. Or no, they don't work so well, but they do provide some efficacy. So there might be a combination of things going on there. Boy, but it's just so tough. In a season like ours, where we're so compact and tight, to lose a couple or a few weeks momentum in that brood nest, it strips that early honey crop away. So maybe what we'll have to do, I don't know what we'll have to do.
I do another random mite shake. I'm getting tired of opening up the colonies going into the frame, so I'm getting lazy now. I'm just pulling from the bottom boards. I think this is close enough. As close as you can get to the brood nest, and there's not a lot of brood anymore. So there should be a lot of phoretic mites. And it's just giving me a little quicker of a sample more often. So I'm going through and just grabbing quite a lot of bees, making a nice composite sample here and just shaking as I go. So there'd be maybe, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there'd be about 300 bees or whatever in here. Let's see what my shake is. I find with the soap, it takes a minute. If there's mites that fall like right away. And if I find lots of mites, then I'll shake it for about 2 or 3 minutes. But most of the time, within that first minute, the mites drop. And with these quick shakes, I just go through and I just shake, 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 and then just gives me an idea where I'm at. Piece of debris. 0. Shaking zeros. Shaking zeros. Holy Christ, am I getting tired of shaking bees. This is the yard that I washed that one colony 10%, and that threw off the alarm bell, and I went into emergency measures. I went through everything and I got a little bit more of an accurate, more of an in-depth, what the hell's going on. Followed suit with a thymol treatment. Knocked those mites down. Zero. That's what I like to see. But what does it actually mean? I'm not sure. The good thing is the mites have been purged. Now it's just a matter of, it's up to Mother Nature now, how much damage has occurred because I let that count get just a little bit too high. And sometimes a little boop doesn't really matter as long as you get the mites off them, because the mites lingering on the winter bees is what kills that winter nest. But the boop of mite exposure, how much infection has gotten into these colonies. Maybe the infection's there anyways. My testing shows me it's always high, it's always there, so what's the bloody difference? So I've done everything I can. Oh my goodness. All I can do now is just tip them back I think I'm done with washing. I'm getting tired of washing. Throw that damn thing in the garbage. Sick and tired of it. Now it's going to be tipping them back. Tipping, tipping, tipping.